a mother, a daughter, and 2 sentences.
Depression and cancer.
I raised LUIZA on the path of faith. She had always been by my side. She had always been my partner in everything. However, when she became a teenager, LUIZA started to show interest in other things. However, she didn't behave like normal youngsters do, going out with friends. LUIZA started to spiral into depression. You remember this time, my daughter, don't you?
Yes, I remember. I remember that I traded day for night. I would go out for days without seeing my own family. I would be awake the whole night and would sleep during the day, so I didn't have any contact with them. It reached a point where I thought, it's no use, I'll have to end my life. It was at dawn, and I remember that I took the medicine and started to take the tablets one by one from the blister pack. I put them in a glass, mixed them in a cocktail, and started to drink it. I woke up 12 hours later. I had gone to my bed, passed out, but then I woke up.
As if this condition of depression was not enough, LUIZA began to present with physical health problems. We noticed that she had some swelling in her neck. We found that very strange. As soon as I noticed that, I said to her, let's go to the hospital. We saw the doctor in her consultation room. LUIZA sat in front of the doctor. Then the doctor looked at me and said, LUIZA must remain in the hospital. She cannot leave because she has a nodule in her neck. The doctor said straight away that it was a malignant nodule. It was a type of cancer, a lymphoma, Hodgkin's lymphoma. In that moment, the doctor made the condition appear hopeless. She said it as though LUIZA's body had been shut down by the cancer.
In fact, from what the images of the scan showed, there was not only one, but there were several nodules.
I went home feeling like I had lost the ground beneath my feet. When I arrived home, I thought, I must do something. This was what reawakened my faith. This faith I had always had. This faith that I had always taught her, that I had always taught my children. This faith of revolt, the faith of sacrifice. That revolt came in such a way that I had to materialize it. So I talked to God. I don't know what you're going to do, how you're going to act, but I know that you will do what is best for LUIZA. If I had taken my valuable things and placed them in the doctor's hands, he would be unable to give me any assurance. But through my faith, I was certain that God would grant me victory. I wasn't just asking for my daughter's healing. I wanted her salvation. I arrived at the church, went to the altar, and placed my sacrifice. When I left, I was already confident. However, the fight continued. The battle did not end there.
In the beginning, the treatment was light. After completing the first course, we saw that the disease was still progressing. As the first treatment did not work, I was placed on a more aggressive one. I started to see my hair fall out, felt weaker. Me, who used to be active, the treatment made me sick, nauseous. We then started on a stronger course of treatment. I still had cancer, but inside me, something was already happening. Today, I know that it was already the answer to my mother's sacrifice. This was so impactful because I'd spent my whole life fighting depression. fighting against the desire to die. Then suddenly, there I was with cancer and my body was dying. The chemotherapy was making me worse because it was killing the cancer and at the same time killing me a little too. However, life was already growing inside me.
I knew that during this time, in all those situations, God was talking to her.
I was hospitalized for a month. One day, when I was alone in my hospital room, I decided to surrender my life to Jesus once and for all. When I left the hospital, that was the first thing I did. I surrendered. I threw myself all in. This was wonderful because it was at this time that the campaign began. I threw myself all in. I had nothing to lose. In that campaign, I became revolted too, the same way that my mum had become revolted. Now it was my time to become revolted. I talked to God. There I was, in this condition, with cancer. But I knew that there was a worse cancer, which was the cancer of the soul, because I fought against it silently my whole life. At this time, I wanted total healing. I not only wanted physical health, before I had physical health. But what did I do with it? Nothing. It only took me to a hole. Now I wanted everything. I wanted the Holy Spirit. This was what I asked God for. Though I was weak, I went out there and raised my sacrifice from scratch. But above all, more than the material value, more than the physical sacrifice, I placed myself there. On the day I placed my vow, it was so powerful. I was barely able to go up the altar as I was experiencing excruciating pain, but I couldn't stop. I was already there.
It was very strong because when she decided to go up the altar, though in such pain, when she came down from the altar, she no longer had pain.
From that moment on, I started my fight. I really wanted the Holy Spirit. I did not want the angel anymore. My whole life, the angel was my mum, who was by my side.
Interceding.
This time, I wanted the Holy Spirit. I wanted him to guide me. I didn't want him to guide her, to guide me. There was a day I remember being alone at home, in my bedroom, the room that had previously served as the prison of my soul, as I stayed for days locked away there. I started to read the Bible and then prayed like never before. I had never been as sincere as I was. In that moment, I was certain. I was finally certain. Speaking about it now, I still have the same assurance that I had that day. It feels even funny because he didn't say anything. He only embraced me. You know? I felt joy like never before. I started thinking of myself as beautiful, even if I was bald, ugly, swollen, you know? It was really, really wonderful. I have no words to describe this. I remember that the first person I hugged was my mum. I simply opened my bedroom door and she saw me. I didn't say anything, but she said, "You've received the Holy Spirit." I don't know if you remember that, but
I remember that day.
It was wonderful, wonderful. You must be asking yourself, what about the cancer? Everything started with this thing called cancer. I was healed from the cancer. God made a complete healing inside me. He started from inside out. First, it was the soul, which was more urgent. Afterwards, it was the body. Cancer is no longer a part of me, just as depression is no longer a part of me. Right, Mum?
Yes, LUIZA is completely healed today. She repeated all the exams that the doctor asked for. In that challenge of surrender that I did for LUIZA at the altar, I was able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. She received the physical healing as well as the spiritual healing. This is a new LUIZA.
Thank God.
Guided by the Holy Spirit, not only by the angel.
Exactly.